I feel like being a Marvel fan has really changed over the years. I don't know, nowadays it just seems like hating on Marvel is like the cool thing to do because you're standing out from everyone else, you're not into what's trending. But with any fandom, the more popular something gets, the more toxic fans infiltrate the space. Which leads me to the topic of this video, Marvel fan theories.
Oh boy, yeah.
Look, I get it. Theorizing about stuff is cool, it's fun, everyone likes to do it, and I don't mind it. It's very interesting to just sit and talk about and theorize about certain movies or TV shows, but it gets to a point where fan theories just go a bit too far.
Impossible.
You know what I mean? When fans are just so fixated on a certain theory that if it doesn't come true in the next movie or TV show or anything like that, and then they hate whatever movie or TV show it was, when in reality their own expectations got the better of them.
But you can't do this to me.
So I'm gonna have a look at some of the most popular MCU fan theories and kind of rank them and see, are they really plausible or are they just plain stupid? So let's check out probably the most reliable news source on the entire internet, BuzzFeed. Okay, so let's start off with probably one of the most popular fan theories going around in the MCU. The kid in Iron Man 2 is actually Peter Parker, but at a younger age.
Oh, Mr. Parker.
So let's think about this for a second. Peter Parker first appears in Captain America Civil War, which came out in 2016. And in that movie, Peter Parker was probably around 15, 16 years old. And Iron Man 2 came out in 2010. So 6 years prior to Captain America, which means that the kid would have to have been around 9 or 10 years old at the time, which I mean is not unbelievable, but he looks probably younger, probably about 7, 8 years old maybe. I don't know if he passes for a 9-year-old or 10-year-old, but let's just believe that it is Peter Parker and Iron Man saved him. The fan theory suggests that Iron Man basically inspired Peter Parker in this moment, which led to him becoming like a science nerd. So would I say that this is a dumb Marvel theory or a good one? I don't know, I'm kind of on board with it. I think it would be pretty cool to know that Tony Stark basically inspired Peter Parker from such a young age. So I'll say that's a pretty good fan theory.
Nice.
Okay, so next one on the list is probably a very controversial fan theory, and that is that Iron Man isn't actually dead. So there are two fan theories that kind of go hand in hand with this one. The first one being is that Iron Man was actually a Skrull the entire time and that Tony Stark basically made a deal before he went into the final in-game battle. So he's hiding out somewhere developing tech for the right moment and the right point in time for him to come back and basically reveal that he's been alive this entire time. This one to me is just very dumb, because why would you take away the impact of the sacrifice that Tony Stark made in Endgame? Look, I love Iron Man as much as the next person, but come on now, just let the character rest. And the other fan theory is that Tony Stark transferred his consciousness into an AI. I mean, if you look at that scene in Endgame where Tony Stark's hologram talks to Morgan, the theory is basically that how would the AI know where Morgan is sitting and be able to look at her at that very exact moment?
Everything's gonna work out exactly the way it's supposed to.
So basically Iron Man is physically dead, but his intelligence, his mind is preserved in this AI. Again, why don't we just let this character rest? But I don't hate this theory as much as I do the previous one. I think it would be pretty cool if Tony Stark's consciousness was basically there for Morgan growing up, so she was never really alone. I know that she has Pepper, but does she really love Pepper 3000?
I love you 3000.
Not that it's a competition, but she loves me 3,000.
Oh, does she now?
You were somewhere in the low 600 to 900 range.
And since we're on the topic of characters not dying, the other character that some fans don't want to believe is dead is Natasha. So before I even dive into why I believe that this theory is just plain stupid, let's just hear out the fans and see what they have to say. Okay, so what do we know about Hulk in Endgame? We know that he snapped the gauntlet, bringing everyone back from the dead that Thanos snapped away many years ago. And the theory is that Natasha came back, but she's just hiding out on Vormir this entire time. Why are Marvel fans just so scared to let characters die? So you expect me to believe that Natasha is just chilling out with Red Skull, doing who knows what until some moment where someone shows up and realizes that, oh wait, she's actually alive. Like, there's just no way to bring her back without it seeming just utterly ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Very good. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Oh, and there's also a theory that Hulk saw Natasha when he did his snap. Kind of like how Thanos saw Gamora and Tony Stark saw Morgan in a deleted scene. This theory is that Hulk saw Natasha because she was like probably the closest person or like one of the only people that Hulk really loved. I mean, I don't know, like it does seem like it could have worked, but does it really change anything about if he saw Natasha or what? It's just one of those theories that doesn't really go anywhere. By the way, if you guys made it this far into the video, you might want to stick around to the end because I have a very juicy theory for you guys. Because the last theory on this list is just probably the most bizarre, and I don't know how anyone can even believe this theory. Also, I would really appreciate it if you tap that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. Alrighty then, so the next theory is that S.H.I.E.L.D. purposely played the wrong audio on the radio for Captain America. Supposedly they were kind of trying to test Steve Rogers' intelligence, trying to find out is he really that intelligent and would he actually be able to lead an army of the future Avengers.
The game. It's from May 1941. I know because I was there.
Like, I don't know, is it really that genius of Steve Rogers to identify a game playing on the radio that he actually attended when he was younger? I'm sure there were many other ways where they could have tested his intelligence, but basing it off of whether he's able to identify that the audio on the radio is actually on the wrong date, like, does it really take a genius to figure that one out? I don't know, maybe it was a feat of intelligence, so I don't know, what are your guys' thoughts on this one?
Look, I'm sorry about that little show back there, but we thought it best to break it to you slowly.
Anyway, since we're on the topic of Captain America, there is a theory that the Wakandan herb is basically used in the super soldier serum. That's why the Americans were never actually properly able to recreate it. And that's why Black Panther and Captain America have very similar abilities. And S.H.I.E.L.D. knew about this all along, but they kept it a secret from Hydra or something like that. Yet again, most of S.H.I.E.L.D. was like Hydra anyway, so I don't know, I guess it would be a fun theory if it was confirmed to be true. Okay, so the next one on this list just made me laugh, and that's that Marvel gave up on Thor. I don't know if that's as much as a theory or just a fact.
You're going to die for that.
I mean, Thor has been all over the place since he first came into the MCU. Like, he was pretty serious in the first few Thor movies and the Avengers movies, but he still had comedic moments at times, and that version of Thor was actually a lot smarter than this new version of Thor.
Your ancestors called it magic, and you call it science. Well, I come from a place where they're one and the same thing.
We use our hearts and our minds to defeat the enemy with minimal loss or damage. What a classic Thor adventure. Hurrah!
You have betrayed the express command of your king through your arrogance and stupidity.
I'm sure we can all agree that the best version of Thor that we've ever seen was in Infinity War. And I know that we blame Taika Waititi for ruining his character, but let's be real, Thor's character was on the decline since Endgame already.
Is he asleep?
No. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Next theory on the list is that the Winter Soldier killed Peter Parker's parents. So this is an interesting one, because what do we know about Peter Parker's parents? Well, in the MCU we don't really know anything about them at all, but if we were to have a guess, I'd say they were most likely scientists, and Hydra didn't like the research they were doing or something like that, so that's why they sent Bucky after his parents. But the theory actually gets deeper than that, and that's that Tony Stark actually knows about this, and that's why he sees Peter Parker as like his own son, because he doesn't want to tell Peter the truth, so he feels kind of responsible to be the father figure in Peter's life, because we know that Ben's already dead. I mean, this fan theory is a pretty interesting one, because I can see this causing a lot of conflict later down the line if Tom Holland's Spider-Man ever gets the Venom symbiote and then has to fight Bucky or something like that, which we all know Bucky would not last a second against the symbiote suit. Even regular Spider-Man could probably kick his ass. But the whole thing of Tony Stark knowing about that incident, I don't know, it would be an interesting theory, but I just think that if that were the case, then Tony Stark most likely would have told Peter by now. And we know that he can't do that because Uncle Stark is dead.
And I am Iron Man.
Okay, so the last theory on this list, I'm not even gonna bother talking about too much because it just frustrates me so much and is just plain idiotic. So this theory is that Thanos knew he would have to sacrifice someone for the Soul Stone, and that's why he adopted Gamora. But after a while he grew attached to Gamora, and that's why he got Nebula. So he basically wanted Gamora and Nebula to become close and have like a rivalry throughout the years. So when the time came that one of them would have to die, the stronger of the two would best the other one, which would result in them falling off the cliff. And over the years, Thanos saw that Gamora was the stronger one. So every time Nebula lost a fight or something, he would replace a limb or something with a robotic piece. But he didn't do this to make Nebula stronger. He actually did this so that she would be at a disadvantage every time.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
But the reason that this theory makes absolutely zero sense is because when Thanos got to Vormir, he was surprised that he had to sacrifice Gamora, meaning he had no idea what he would have to do to get the Soul Stone, which means that he adopted Gamora just for the sake of it and not because he knew that he would have to sacrifice her or Nebula later down the line.
What you seek lies in front of you.
Tell me what it needs.
To ensure that whoever possesses it understands its power. In order to take the stone, you must lose that which you love. A soul for a soul.
So I don't know why fans are even entertaining this theory, because it is just... oh, it just hurts my brain to think about. So that's a list of some of the biggest and some of the most interesting theories that I could find. And if you guys want to see another video about MCU fan theories, then leave some of the most controversial fan theories in the comments and I'll be sure to make another one. Anyways, if you guys want to see me react to the funniest moments in the MCU, then click here and I'll see you guys in the next one.